So you've tried a ton of different hair products, you did exactly what they told you to do, and your hair is still dry. That's a huge problem because when hair is dry, it gets brittle, which means breakage and damage, and it's never gonna look its best. So how is it that you're gonna fix this huge problem? It's actually really easy. I help clients with this in my salon every single day. I'll show you everything I've learned in my career in just a couple minutes. All right, so one of the main problems is using too many hair products. This comes from taking advice from paid spokespeople without realizing that they're paid spokespeople. When they tell you to buy a product, it's not because they swear by that product. It's because they're being paid to tell you to buy that product. They're gonna be pushing and posting about whatever product they're currently being paid to promote. And for a lot of them, it'll be one thing this week, another thing next week, and it just keeps going. But it's not obvious that that's what's going on. So you buy all of these products and end up with a hair graveyard, which is all the products under your sink that you never use because they don't work. Hair commandment number one, less is more when it comes to products. If you use a lot of products, your hair is going to be weighed down and heavy. And heavy hair doesn't have that fresh, bouncy look. It has to be washed all the time because it gets gross and producty, and washing all the time dries your hair out. So the strategy I'm going to teach you today is to use less products so your hair stays fresh and bouncy, so you can go way longer between washes, and that alone will make a huge difference for you. Another really common mistake is using the wrong products. And this is kind of related to the last problem, because if you're using the right products, you don't need to use that many. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. When I first started out in hair, we would have these educators come out and teach us about these product brands. In the beginning, I was really excited because I thought that they were gonna come in and teach us about hair and make us better stylists so we could do a better job. But most of these educators didn't even do hair. All they did was teach us how to sell these products. They would teach us these slick phrases to get our clients excited and make an impulse buy right before they left. Most of the products didn't work. We didn't want to sell them, but we were expected to sell them because people were telling us to sell them. It was just a mess. It took me years to realize that the reason none of these products actually worked was because they were all treating symptoms. They weren't actually trying to give you good hair in the first place, which is what they should have done. A perfect example of this is split end menders. If you have split ends, you're supposed to go buy one of these, put it on your ends, and it fixes everything. But here's the thing, there's a huge problem with that because once your ends split, you can't put them back together. It doesn't work like that. It's like Humpty Dumpty. The real key to having amazing ends is to keep them healthy so they never split in the first place. But the problem with that is it doesn't take many products and you can't make that much money off of it. But here's the thing, I don't care about that at all. My hair philosophy is to keep the hair healthy in the first place so the bad things never happen with the least amount of products. That way you don't need a split end mender, you don't need any restorative treatment or any of that silliness that they're trying to push on you. So how do you prevent all those bad things from happening in the first place? It's actually really easy, and it's the core of this video. You cannot let your hair get dry. Dryness is the root of all hair problems. So let's move on to the biggest dry hair mistake that people tend to make, which is not understanding the basics. Having amazing, healthy hair is actually really easy. All you have to do is keep it moisturized and it'll be super healthy. The only thing that makes it tricky is that there's some products that moisturize the outside of your hair, and there's some products that moisturize the inside of your hair. There's a huge difference between the two. Let me give you a quick example. I used to have this client who was always trying these leave-in creams and treatments and all of these things to cure her dry hair. You see a ton of these products and people buy them like crazy, but after a couple years, she still had dry hair, so she asked me which treatment I recommended. I had to tell her that I was sorry, but I couldn't recommend one because I had never found one that works, ever. In my entire life. The problem with these products is that they only put moisture on the outside of your hair. So from the outside, it might feel moisturized. It's not actually doing anything because the moisture only counts if it's inside your hair. Let's do a quick little diagram thing so you can see what I mean. All right, so here's what your hair looks like. The outer layer is called the cuticle, and it's like this hard protective barrier. It's almost like overlapping scales to protect the inside of your hair. Now the inside of your hair is soft and delicate, and that's where all the moisture is. That's called the medulla and the cortex. The problem is most hydrating products can't actually penetrate the outside layer of your hair to get to the inside. So all those treatments that you bought and put on your hair, they're sitting on the outside doing absolutely nothing. But this can be really tricky because if you feel your hair with your hands, it feels hydrated and it is on the outside, but the delicate inside part of your hair is still dry. So how do you fix this? you stop randomly buying products on Instagram and TikTok, and you get a real hair strategy, which is called healthy hair routine. The sad thing is that most people don't even know that there's such thing as a healthy hair routine. Usually they're just handed a bunch of random products and said, here you go, I recommend these. You don't even know how to use them or how they fit together. Your hair is not that complicated. It only has a couple of basic needs, and if you're able to address those needs, you will never have dry hair or split ends or anything like that ever again. If you don't know what ever again is, it's ever again. I'm trying to put that up. Let's make this a thing, guys.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
All right, so going back to your hair's basic needs, there's only two. Number one, you need to have a healthy scalp, and number two, you need to keep your hair moisturized. That's it. This is super basic. You do not need to have a million products. All you need to do is focus on the fundamentals. Shampoo is all you need to cleanse your scalp and keep it healthy. It's not that complicated. Right now, there's this huge push by the hair industry to sell you scalp scrubs and hair oils before you wash. Don't fall for that. They are always looking for ways to get you to spend more money on hair care, but these are the same people who got you to buy all those other products that didn't work either. Now, the second and final need of your hair is keeping it moisturized, and it goes like this. Step one is to use conditioner to soften up the outside cuticle of your hair that you see here. That's going to allow it to penetrate to the inside of your hair and hydrate it from within. Masks and conditioners are the two best products at doing this. So all the other hydrating products I would stay away from. Now, after you're done in the shower, you're gonna step out and your hair is going to be super moisturized thanks to the technology of modern conditioners. The only problem here is that your cuticle does not have modern technology. It's the exact same hair cuticle that people had 1,000 years ago, and it is not capable of holding all that moisture inside your hair. Long story short, all that moisture that your conditioner put inside your hair is going to slowly leak out and your hair is going to dry out. That's exactly what happens to most people. Game over. But it is not game over, because I'm about to give you a cheat code so you can keep all that moisture in your hair, so your hair has way more moisture in it than it ever should. The only tricky part is, how do you actually do that? It's actually not tricky at all if you have somebody showing you the answers. And the answer is 2 products. So just a quick recap, the entire healthy hair routine is just shampoo and conditioner, and then 2 other products. This is super simple. Anybody can do it. All right, so the first product to lock in that moisture is leave-in conditioner. This is a super light, water-based product that will make the single biggest difference in your hair. It's really important this is nice and light. And one problem that a lot of people have is they confuse leave-in treatments for leave-in conditioners. The treatments are what we were talking about earlier, super heavy, super bad. These are light, keep your hair fresh, light, and bouncy so you can go days between washes so you don't dry your hair out by washing all the time. So as soon as you get out of the shower and you towel dry your hair, this is the first thing that goes on your hair. The reason for that is this is your base. Remember how we talked about the cuticle? This is going to go straight on the cuticle and lock all the moisture inside there. When it comes to helping out the cuticle and sealing the moisture in there, this is as good as it gets. It is absolutely amazing. But there's a really dry part of your hair that doesn't have any cuticle, so that's why we need a second product. That part of your hair is your ends. Most of your hair shaft has a cuticle guarding the outside of it, but when it comes to your ends, they're cut off and exposed. Because that moisture is able to escape right out the bottom of your hair, so it dries out, becomes dull, splits, and eventually dies. Now, to stop this from happening, there's 10 products that you need to buy and combine in the exact right proportions, and please use my affiliate links below. No, that was a test. We're not falling for that stuff anymore. We're doing it the right way. It only takes 1 product to do this, and it's hair oil. Now, I just want to point out that any good hair advice is always going to speak in terms of product categories, not specific products. The reason for that is that you can never recommend a product unless you know someone's hair type. Hair commandment number 2, you always have to match your product to the hair type. So if you want to know which products are best for you, check out my recommended product list in the description. It even has a hair type quiz to help you figure out your hair type. All right, so back to hair oil. Hair oil is amazing because it forms a moisture barrier on the ends of your hair, and when it's on there, there's no way the moisture can leak out. But the downside to oil is that it's very, very strong, and if you use too much, your hair will feel really weighed down and heavy and oily, so you need to be really careful about how much you use. You only want to use a couple drops, rub them together in your palms. If you want to know exactly how to use it, I highly recommend you check out my routine videos. All right, so let's take one more look at the hair diagram. The cortex, which is the inside of your hair, is where all the color is. And when that's nice and hydrated, your color really shines. And then the outside layer of your hair, the cuticle, is like glass. And when it's healthy, the color can shine right through it. It's super vibrant and beautiful. That's what you're going for. If you hydrate your hair and keep it healthy, your hair will be amazing. A massive amount of people have completely transformed their hair with the Trinity routine. I really recommend you give it a shot. It's just shampoo and conditioner, a leave-in conditioner, and hair oil. Easiest thing in the world. If you're new around here, I highly recommend you watch this next video. It's a wash day hair routine because that is the first step of your healthy hair journey. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.